Anyway, a Democratic US lawmaker also criticized the company Ticketmaster. Ticketmaster's excessive wait times and fees are completely unacceptable, as seen with today's Taylor Swift tickets. David Cicilline wrote on Twitter. He added that the 2010 merger of Ticketmaster and Live Nation, which had Justice Department approval, should not have been allowed. It's no secret that Live Nation stroke Ticketmaster is an unchecked monopoly. He said. That wasn't me saying that. Oh my God. I would never cast such... but, you know, he said he's an expert. So a few bands used to make all the money, and then it would go like this. There'd be a little bit of money for millions of other bands. And then with the advent of streaming and the internet and all this stuff and all this new music and new and fresh ways to connect with your audience, the idea was that Longtail was supposed to do this. So there'd be a more even distribution of the wealth among the sort of top earning bands. But that's not what happened. Harry Styles, Taylor Swift, poof, and then 1 billion bands releasing 100,000 songs every day on the various streaming platforms, making no money whatsoever. And it's happening in the music trade on the live front as well.
What do you think of artists who...
That's crazy.
So what he was given an example with his hand where he'd have like his hand at the top and he's emulating a graph for those who are just listening. And it's supposed to, like, he had artists making a lot of money and then a little bit of money left for the rest of the artists. And then it became the idea of streaming and everything, when you'd have artists, like the top artists, making a shitload of money. And then it would kind of slope down so the other artists had a little more money. But instead it went the other way. Like Spotify, if you don't know this, if all you do is stream, like for me, for instance, I stream Bandmate all fucking day, right? Well, my money that I pay into Spotify doesn't go to Bandmate. It goes to the highest percentage, goes to fucking whoever's the, you know what, Harry Styles and Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
What?
And it gets it goes into a pool, and the percentage relative listening, whoever's listening to the most, they get the percentage of all the money.
What? Did not know
dude,
that.
you don't just support your band, you're supporting the most popular band, whether you fucking
So you're better off buying the CDs and
that's why I always buy the CDs of new bands I like.
I'm so happy I do that.
That's crazy. I had no idea that's how that was
you
working.
You can stream nothing but one band all the time, and they're not getting
your subscription fee.
It's a little bit extra work, guys, but I'm telling you, just what I do is I just grab the CD player here, and then I just rip the CD onto it, and then you can still put it on your iPhone. You just can't sync it with the iPlaylist. But to me, it's just worth it, right? Get the CD, put it in here, rip it on there, and then you're at least listening to them.
It still plays for the band. I mean, they're not like not counting your plays, but the money that they don't know they don't single out what you're listening to is what I'm saying. It all goes into a pool, and whoever gets played the most is still getting it, you know.
Now, who brought attention to that though? Like who said that? Like, where's that stated? Like, on how I'm curious. I would be curious to see how that's listed. The only reason why I'm asking, because when I look at my Spotify listeners, I can see how many plays I have.
Yeah, no, your plays get counted as plays for that band,
but I only get 0.001% or something for each play, which is
if I understand, it's like. So let me just try to say what you were just saying, just for my own head here, Ryan. Yeah. So basically, it's like there's a giant fishbowl, and every time you listen to anything, money gets put into that fishbowl, and then, like, let's say at the end of the year or whatever, they tally how much plays have been for each particular artist and divvy it up percentage wise out of that pool of money that was put into there. So you're not directly giving money to that band, but your plays do up their percentage when they get paid out. Right?
That
would seem more fair if it was like that. But I think Ryan.
Well, I think it's like if you're supporting all the artists. You're a part of supporting all the artists on Spotify, even if you're only intentionally supporting one. Mm-hmm. Like, you have a choice where your money goes to whoever. It's all going to go. It's not like they're unfairly getting. It's weird because every time it's like you're trying to explain it, it's like, well, it's not really so bad. But it's like, even though I don't listen to Taylor Swift at fucking all, she's getting some of my money. You know what I mean?
But you're
I'm not
also
supporting her at all, but I'm still supporting her because I use fucking Spotify.
I do have an article here. Let's see if this sheds any light on it. So it's how do Spotify royalties work? Spotify payments explained for musicians. So the Swedish audio streaming platform Spotify is one of the world's most important players. Let's see, how does streaming services like this work?
I know how to say it now.
Say
I'll do this real quick. I have like 15 listeners a month. That's fucking it. And a percentage of their money is going to Taylor Swift. You know what I mean? It's not all coming to me.
So
Just
basically,
those spins.
the total amount of money that they'll pay out is based on a percentage of your subscription fee. That's all set, how much they're going to pay out. But then it's split by percentage based on who gets listened to the most.
Okay, what if I have
what's
a
the
million
article say?
streams? Does that raise my rate up? You know, that's what I want to know. Like,
I
let's see.
would wonder.
Are there tiers?
So my question would be, are they reevaluating based on how much playtime that thing got during that course of the contract or during the year or whatever? Or is a set amount of money that's going to these bands like that was negotiated prior to that year and then it gets renegotiated if the band does well that year? That's a big differentiating factor, I think.
This is what I was told by
What's your
Spotify, like for Spotify underneath CD Baby, the publishing. So as a rights holder, you get between 0.003 and 0.005 per stream. But I have to believe that I have a feeling there's special deals because, you know, like Joe Rogan, who got specifically signed to Spotify, right?
Yeah.
He's getting paid somehow, right?
Yes, exclusivity contracts definitely exist. And they also try to buy certain parts of discographies from people.
Yeah, so Taylor Swift might have an exclusivity.
They paid him a lump
contract.
sum.
But that's for them to own it. And he's not going to get anything out of that anymore, right? Like he sold that. It no longer belongs to him anymore.
So he probably doesn't get paid for the streams themselves anymore.
He might get no royalties if that's the case.
Yeah.
If you're going to sell something, unless it's part of the contract that you demand that you get the money from the sale plus royalties going forward.
It just goes back to what Ryan was saying, though. Like the smaller artists are going to get screwed because they're going to prioritize these bigger artists. Because I doubt that Joe Rogan is just getting just that one lump sum. I'm sure there's something else on the back end of that contract. I'd have to look it up. I
wonder if there's probably like a basic contract that everybody gets, and then there's like, you know, the big artists are able to negotiate the contract to change it into something a little bit different.
Hey, thanks Jim Morrison for the $5. We really appreciate it, man. He says send a super chat with no cuss words, like, sub, share, and get a shirt. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks so much.
And by the way, speaking of
easy way to help out, man.
and then, you know, Guys and Guys merch store sponsors this podcast because we make them do that. Anyways, but I'm going to do some digging on this, do some research for the next Sunday, and we'll see what I find over this because I'm actually.
Hey, what contract did you have to
curious.
sign when you put us on Spotify, Alan? What happened? Like
so-
you did it for us.
Who reads that?
Here's the thing. No, let me tell you guys. So this is what happens. So you have to have a publisher, and the publisher is a representation for you, and they're the ones who negotiate all that. So you technically don't even see those damn contracts because they have the contracts of Spotify. We don't get paid for streams for our podcasts. We have to pay to put our podcasts on those streaming services so we can reach an audience. So if you guys stream the podcast from there, it does help us out a lot because that means we could get sponsors in the future, but that's it. We don't make a damn penny from podcasts on
Isn't it like $20 a month to host it over there?
Yeah. So we pay $24.
So you'll never recover that money from streaming on Spotify.
Yeah, so we pay $24 a month, but like this month we're going to spend $40 because we did a lot more interviews. So we have to pay them $40 to host it. Now, at the same merit, we use Buzzsprout, which is a really good company because they offer us affiliate program with them. So if you guys want to start a podcast, you can hit the affiliate link in our description. But they will get us sponsors where I don't have to do the extra work. So I like that benefit of not worrying about trying to find sponsors that fit the podcast. They just come to us. But that's why we have our own merch store to sponsor us because it's better just to have our own things that we do because Ryan is a great artist and can design amazing merch for us and it works out well, you know?
So does Buzzsprout own those? Do they own those sponsorships? They have deals with those sponsorships?
That's what's so fucked up, but it's the game. I pay so they don't own it. So we do own it, but that's why we're paying. So those free podcast hosts, keep in mind, the reason why they're free is because they own your shit. And that's why you don't go for the free ones. So keep that in mind. If you go for the free podcast stuff, yeah, it's great. It's free, but they own your podcast. It's kind of like Twitch. There's a caveat for Twitch. Like when you sign that agreement, they technically own your content. And I wish I knew that because I would have never signed that partnership thing because technically they own everything. Your logo, your label, if you read it, it says it in the print that they own all that stuff. So when I was doing the double stream back in the day, they're like, they're going to take down your Twitch. I'm like, go for it because then they won't own my shit, you know? So that's why I have decided not to start a Guys and Guys Twitch because of that specific thing. Well, we could start it. We just we won't be able to take subs or take money or anything like that.
Right.
So.
I do wonder like what the difference would be now between like a Spotify and how they do their stuff with the contracts and stuff like that. And then like YouTube Music, who, for example, like you get YouTube views regularly, right?
Yeah.
But if you're on YouTube Music, do you have to do something different, or is everybody that's on YouTube just automatically onto YouTube Music?
Okay, so YouTube Music and the YouTube music videos, the publisher still collects it. So if you're doing it through CD Baby and you just upload the music video, but you don't hit the check mark to share it to YouTube Music, it will still count as a normal royalty. So what I found out though is the AdSense from YouTube is different than what CD Baby takes away. And I hate to say this, but it's actually better just to release your song with a music video and not do it through a publisher because you'll make more money through the YouTube AdSense program than the actual CD Baby publishing. Yeah. So for example,
then you're the publisher instead of someone else.
Exactly. And you're not relying on someone else. So the problem is we're relying on secondary services, which is great and stuff. It makes it for us, you know, that don't have millions of dollars to release shit. It's helpful, but on the back end, it sucks because they do take a huge chunk of that. Because I was looking at the
Ticketmaster. They were doing the Ticketmaster thing just with YouTube stuff.
No, what I hate about distributing through a third party is they block all comments. Like comments are disabled. No one can have a conversation under your video. It kills the ability for it to have any type of growth or performance because they don't let people talk about it in the comments.
Yeah. And it's funny thing is when I send an email to CD Baby, for example, I'm like, hey, can you not copyright my song on my actual channel? It took them 7 months, guys. So 7 months to fucking release it, and which is just bullshit because they collected all the money from the beginning of the release. So I only made like $50 off of my last single, which was Phoenix, and I know it would have been at least $150 from the streaming because it was like almost 35,000 on YouTube. It has a lot of streams on Spotify. So yeah, I lost probably like half my income on that song.
And no retroactive payments, huh? So it's like they can take as long as they want because they know that when they finally give it over to you, that's when their money
why Patreon
stops.
is so important to a certain extent, especially if you're grandfathered in.
That's why I stopped using CD Baby.
So you're saying it's better just to do your shit through YouTube and not use.
Essentially, yeah.
Don't use secondary
here's
programs.
Don't use them to publish to YouTube. Use them to distribute everywhere else except YouTube.
Exactly.
But once you publish it through them, if you put that song on YouTube, whether you play it live or not, it's going to get fucking.
Yep.
Sometimes
copyrighted.
Sometimes they'll do that. I think it's better to, like what Wave said, is don't use it through YouTube, but Orion's right, is if you do have the music published worldwide, they can go in there and copyright it anyways, but you can get it removed because you obviously are the person that did it. They just take forever to do it. Here's the problem though. CD Baby, what they're good at, this is the one thing they're really good with, is they're good at collecting all your royalties. You got to give it to them there because if somebody uses it in their intro stinger, bam, you get money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So see, there's it's very conflicting. It's the whole balance thing that we're talking about earlier. All this is just a balancing act. And it's like, oh, well, if you do this, you're giving up this. If you give up this, then this is going to happen. You can't win.
You guys, we got to acknowledge these. Holy crap.
Makaluku.
Goya as well.
Thank you so much for the gifted memberships.
But yeah. In case you guys didn't know, you can gift memberships like Makaluku just did right here. He gifted out 5 Guys and Guys channel memberships, which you can do if you're a channel member and you just want to hook other people up, make them a channel member. You could do that. It's cool.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks, man.
Thanks. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much for that. But I need to turn off the sound effects. Sorry. It keeps going
It
off.
notifies us, man.
I like them.
like
it makes
it.
me feel magical. And
But when you have 5 in a row.
At least it's a nice, beautiful sound.
yeah, it's not like
Yeah,
Like
that's
mine
very
that's
true.
like ding, ding,
But anyways, but that's the whole financial side of things when it comes to that. It's like I said, it's a lot of give and take, you know, but it's unfortunately the corporation on top that are going to take the most, you know, unless you,
yeah, definitely.
that's what it is.
We're screwed.
That's what it is, you know.
Mute that. I like that sound.
We don't have any more options.
If you are enjoying these clips from our full podcast, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on all those notifications so you don't miss out when we go live on Sunday, which is always the same time at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. And if you can't catch it there, we're also on Spotify and future streaming platforms in the future, because that's where the future takes place. I don't know. Just hit subscribe, guys.